Hey, there we go. Welcome back, everybody, to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is April 28th, 2019, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How's it going there, chat room? I see Stelzy's here, and Error SVK. Hello, hello. Lannon, of course. Crash 0JX. Hello, how's it going? Rambling Geek. Barely Legible. Hey there, good to see you. I've got my Doctor Strange hat on today. Check that out. There he is, hiding under the brim. Because it was Avengers weekend this weekend. Avengers Endgame. And I took the wife out for a date yesterday afternoon, and we went and saw it again. And it was even better the second time. It was so amazing. You got to see this movie. Avengers Endgame was just released last week. Thursday, Friday. So make sure you check that out. I really enjoyed it. Lots of great things to say about that. Maher is here, and then is that Matt, a.k.a. Sigmund? Hello, good to see you. Surly Dev, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. We're gonna get into some code today. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna continue our exploration of the actor model and how we can use that with .NET to build some really scalable applications, to build things that are multi-tenant or that have multiple responsibilities that could be multi-threaded even and act in many different ways for us. And I'm really excited about how we're going to be able to grow this application we've been working on here. Love the follow notification. Well, thank you, Surly Dev. Yeah, Steve's been joining us now for more than 6,000 followers. He's chimed in and said, good morning to all those developers. Yeah. Steve's a friendly guy. He just hangs out there and greets all of our developers. Let me just move some windows around here. I didn't quite get landed right where I needed them before we started the stream today. Let's see. Folks on Twitter. Yep, they're out there on Twitter. Fantastic. All right. Who else is out here? Did I see? There's Robert Tables. Hello, hello. Threnen, good to see you. What is a tenant? Asks Maher. Good question. In a multi-tenant application, well, you know what? Let me get to the application, and we'll talk about that before we get too far into things. Our goal, we were doing a drive trying to get to 7,000 followers. Oh my gosh, Chris Jones, thanks so much for that sub. And Stream Elements text-to-speech didn't read it again. Only 2 more to go. Yeah, 2 more, and then you get to that year. Hey, Svava, good to see you. Binary Chef has arrived despite the best efforts of the opposition. I know. The 10th Doctor. The 10th Doctor. No, the Strange Doctor. So we were trying to get to 7,000 followers before May 1st. May 1st is Wednesday. I don't think we're going to make it. We aren't even at 6,200. I don't think we're going to make it there, friends. So we will not be doing a rainbow beard for build. Sorry to say, and that's okay. I think we'll still have some fun with a little bit of other hijinks that are going to be going on. Time to generate a bunch of Twitch users. I'm not going to encourage you to do that, Frackberg. That's against terms of service, and as a partner, they'd be mad at me. Let me tell you. I'm going to get some music playing in the background here, and then we'll dive into our project. You know what? The Doctor Strange hat here is a little bit teal. It reminds me of cyan, so I think we're going to play cyan today. There it is. This is, of course, music from our friend Mr. Carl Franklin's Music to Code By. This music is scientifically designed. It's engineered to get you in the groove, to get you focused on whatever task it is that you might be working on. Whether it's writing code, doing your homework, being creative, right? If you're sewing, painting, sculpting, or you're just doing your homework, or chores around the house, it'll help to get you uber focused on whatever that task it is. Check it out at musictocodeby.com. There you are. That's right, Surly Dev. And if we throw a music command in the chat room, it'll drop a link there, mtcb.pwop.com. I think it's $35 and you can get 20 songs. Tremendous collection. Or you can go to musictoflowby.com. You can download 3 songs free right now. Make sure you check that out. Thank you, Carl. We really appreciate you sharing your music so that we can listen to it here on the stream and so that our friends can get their own copy wherever they might be. Sweet Vinaya, how am I? I'm doing just fine. We're going to have a lot of fun today because we're going to get into writing a game for our distributed chatbot using the actor model. Now, there was a question about what is a tenant. So we haven't quite enforced a multi-tenant model yet here. But this application that we've been building, we started it for our friend Quiltoni, was designed to allow streamers to manage faux currency that they use in their stream using a Google spreadsheet as where they store and display, here's all the amount of currency that you've earned inside my channel. So that was a nice start, and then we added some other integrations so that there would be a notification from Shopify. If you have a Shopify store, it would send a notification, just like you saw the follower alert here. Kind of like that one. Clark.io, thanks so much for the resub. 3 months in. Really appreciate that. Still didn't read the woot. Still didn't read it. I don't know. Not David, Tenant. Wrong Tenant. No. Good to see you, though, Clark.io. Thanks so much for that resub. And, of course, all of our subs and cheers this quarter are going to be donated to Veterans Who Code. We're going to be doing a donation. We're going to push that through to Black Girls Code here in about the next week or so. Probably at Build we'll do it. And we've got this application we've been building. So it's this chatbot. So Quiltoni was using it, and a lot of folks said, that's pretty neat. I'd like a similar integration for my channel and my shop. And there's other things that we've added along the way here, games and things. And now we need to run it for different channels. I was distributing an application for each of them, much like how our friend Fierce Kittens distributes GiftBot. There's all kinds of folks out there that have their own install of GiftBot, and that's a bot that runs in your chat room and puts up all kinds of funny animations on the screen when folks in the chat room execute commands. So we thought it makes sense to centralize this, to put this type of functionality, these custom integrations that are really next level advanced things, end games, into a service. Put it online somewhere out on the cloud so that we can have multiple folks sign up, bring their channel, and here's where the tenants are. Each one of those channels is a tenant, like a tenant in an apartment building. They have their own configuration. They have their own way the application runs that's customized for them. It's a little bit like custom users inside of an application, maybe like Gmail or OneDrive or Dropbox. You have separate users. But then when you take it up a step and there's a configuration that changes in that application based on how you as a user or an organization uses it, and you want other folks to be able to log in and use that same configuration, because in the case of this bot, you're going to want moderators to be able to log in and change configuration, enhance configuration. Folks like Stream Elements do this very well right now, and taking nothing away from them, they do a nice job with that authentication and the ability to compartmentalize each one of those channels' configuration. So that's what we're driving towards here, and along the way, really, this is an educational project. We're going to provide this functionality for other folks that want to use it, but along the way, we're going to learn all about the actor model. We're going to learn about ASP.NET Core 3.0. We're going to learn a little bit about Microsoft.NET's Blazor framework, that framework that allows you to build WebAssembly code using C# that executes in the browser. Very, very cool stuff. So we're going to cover a whole bunch of different topics as we build out this bot. We're even going to get into using containers, and our friend Robert Tables is going to join us for a stream and as a pair programmer in we've got to nail this down, but we're very interested in talking about containers and how we structure deploying this bot in a series of containers. That'll be a lot of fun. And we'll also add some artificial intelligence into this, whole bunch of different things. It'll be tremendous. Duel asks, have I ever used Spring, and if yes, what's my opinion about it? I have not used Spring. I don't have an opinion on it because I have heard folks take different approaches and use different models, right? You're referring to the Spring, right, software framework, which is, it's an application framework, an IOC container. So folks have done Spring.net to be able to do something similar. More power to folks if they find something that works for them. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't be using this framework or you should use that framework instead. If you find something that works great for you, fantastic. Here on this stream, I'm a .NET developer. I'm a C# developer. C# developer. You came to a stream with a guy named C# Fritz. What do you expect? We're going to write C#. And we'll even write a little bit of JavaScript along the way. No, horses over there. Hey, Denerd, good to see you. So, we'll get through and we'll share some of this technology. We'll use Visual Studio, we'll use Visual Studio Code, and we'll have a lot of fun along the way. And for those of you that have been keeping an eye on the calendar, there's a lot of things coming up. Monday is DockerCon. There's also a Women in Technology event that day, and I'm going to be hosting a code party that evening. We're going to have guests joining us live here on the show, and we're going to talk to some amazing lady technologists and about how they've gotten ahead, some of the cool things that they've done in the industry. Tuesday, we're swapping our schedule. Tuesday, we're going to go back to 10 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. Thursday, I'm going to push to the evening show like we've been doing. I'll be back on Friday. Sunday morning next week, I will not be broadcasting because I'm traveling to build. But Sunday night, we have another code party. Oh, yeah. So make sure you tune in. And when we have a code party, we've got great interviews with folks. And we're going to be giving away prizes. Trivia contest prizes right here on the stream. Make sure you check them out. There's the code party logo hanging out over there. I need to fix the size of that. So, build next week. I've got a couple surprises coming for you. I've got some pretty amazing guests coming for build. We're going to be streaming almost 20 hours of content throughout Microsoft Build, before the event, after the event, and a little bit during the event, and it's going to be tremendous. We're going to be pair programming. We're going to be interviewing folks. We're going to have some panel discussions. It's going to be a crazy, crazy week at Microsoft Build. Last thing that I want to touch on, there was one more thing about the schedule. And it was, I don't remember. And I didn't write it down. Darn it, I didn't write it down. It's going to be lit, as the kids would say. Very lit. Very, very lit. We might have a furnace party for it. No, bad reference. Bad reference. Not going to do that. All right. So this is where our project is. Do attend that furnace party. Yes. So let's put in what the project is today. We're going to add the guest time game to the PixelBot using Akka and ASP.NET Core 3. There we go. That's our project we're going to be working on today. Fantastic. I need to make ASP.NET whitelisted on that lookup. Hey, Frank. I'll be at one of the 10 Canadian view parties for Build. Very excited about it. Cool. It's going to be so wild, the cops are going to get called? No, we're not going to get that crazy. Come on, we're software developers. Can we really get that crazy? Don't think so. All right, so here's where the project is. Excuse me. Let me copy that and we'll drop that GitHub link in there for you. In case you want to go check it out, that's where you can find the project. I'm very bright today. I'm trying to deal with that blue. It was getting dropped out by my filter here. Let's see if we can... Let me see if I can back off that brightness a little bit. I know I'm so bright my mother calls me son, but come on. That's a little crazy. I mean, I'm practically fading into the background here, you know? I've still got a little bit of green over there we want to clean up. Alright, I think we're okay. That's a little bit better. Alright, hey! In the virtual world, maybe. The chroma keying around the mic cord is fuzzing a lot. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's what I was trying to clean up. Yeah. See, if I push it up too much further, I start to lose my shoulder. That's not too bad. I'm gonna run with that. Alright, so we've been working on this project. And I made some changes, I made some enhancements. Let me I cleaned up a little bit of what was going on with the Razor components on this, so we can run server-side Blazor with this. And I'm going to show you what server-side Blazor is in just a second, because it's freaking amazing. It is. I'm looking. I lost my. Yes, it's freaking amazing.
Right.
Thank you. I need some more Dr. Evil quotes. So, let me add report current channels. Yes. And then I'm going to commit this. Fixed Blazor interactions. And then I'll show you what's going on here. Because Blazor is... it's a very cool technology that you didn't even know you need yet, but oh yes, you need it. I'm going to push that up so that it's available. And then back over to Visual Studio. So Blazor is a component framework that you can use, and it was originally designed so that it would run in the browser as part of a WebAssembly delivery. WebAssembly is a binary delivery of code that'll execute inside the browser, an executable, right? Think about how you download an application and you run it locally, right? You get some sort of an exe, some sort of executable file that you can run locally so you can run some application. What if you can run that application in the browser? That's what WebAssembly promises, and Blazor is a framework that allows .NET developers to compile and deliver that in the browser execution. Well, there's a server-side Blazor feature that runs, and that sounds weird, but it was designed and runs so that you can, yeah, we're good there. So that you can, even if WebAssembly is not enabled or you don't want to target it, you can run in the browser and it'll real quick reach back to the server, get data back, and present it. I'll show you what the problem was. I will show you that. So I've added some features here so that this is using server-side Blazor, okay? And you'll see right here, it connects a WebSocket right off the get-go to the server so that as I'm changing things here, it will automatically repaint the contents of the page. So if I go over to my network tab, and we look at the WebSocket connections, let me zoom out here just a smidge, reload so we can see the WebSockets. Show me the WebSockets. Show me WebSockets. All right. And if I tell the bot to join the C# Fritz channel, it drops a thing down here, and it's not showing me the WebSockets. I want to see the WebSockets. There it is, right there. So it's connected, it's negotiated, and it's got a WebSocket running. There it is. So as I further interact here, right? Now, this is Firefox. It doesn't show it quite as nicely as Chrome does. But it's just bringing back only the data it needs, and it's painting it on the screen. Very, very cool. So Lurk doesn't take a time argument there. How about 1,000,000 Dr. Evil quotes? 1,000,000?
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
That's a little much. So what was the problem is the question. Now, see, I don't know why it's attempting to reconnect. Why? It's right there. It's working. Yes, retry. And for some reason, that's weird. That wasn't happening to me before. Server timeout elapsed without receiving a message. Okay. Cannot send data if... Wow. Oh, now I've done it. Now I've really done it. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Ah, I know why. Okay, that's fine. I know why that is. That was missing configuration. The projects of the solution are targeting Net Core App 2.2, Net Standard 2.0. Will I upgrade them to Net Core App 3? Actually, I have. So this is Net Core App 3, 3, 3, 3. So I'm in the multi-tenant, feature multi-tenant branch where we're migrating things into this architecture. And I saw the message there from Stelzy. Akka doesn't work client-side Blazor right now. That's okay. That's fine. For what I'm trying to accomplish, I don't need that yet. So, look at that. Sentiment is at 92%. 92%. Really happy. When does 3.0 fully get released? .NET Core 3.0. They're targeting a fall release. You'll hear more details about that at Build. And about all the cool things that they're doing with .NET Core 3. And it's Build. We like to talk about things that are going on in the future at Microsoft. You'll see more about what's happening in the future of .NET at Build as well. What's the 92.7 smiley thing? That is the sentiment in the chat room. And it looks like it's frozen. Is it frozen? Nope, there it goes. That's the current sentiment in the chat room. So there's actually the bot that's sitting out there, the Fritz bot you see there, is actually measuring the sentiment of every message that comes through chat. And the sentiment analysis that comes back from Azure is between 0 and 1. Well, I multiply that by 100, and the number that you see there is the average sentiment in the chat room over the last, I think it's the last 5 minutes. And the arrow is the trending direction over the last minute compared to the last 5 minutes. The smiley, finally, is an indication below 50%, it's a frown. Above 50%, it's a smile for the most recent messages that have come through chat. And we built it on stream. That's right, Robert Tables. All the source code is available in my Stream Tools repository, if you check that out on my GitHub. I should provide a link to that question when folks say, hey, what's that thing? What's that sentiment deal? So if you say awesome things, will it go up? Absolutely. Look at that. It's going up already. Send it sky high. See, now it's become a game. Yes, happy Sunday indeed. So, our bot that's sitting out here, it now has the ability to interact, connect out to multiple channels, and do different things. The error that we were seeing where it was trying to get the configuration, I've stubbed out a couple channels configuration just so that there's something out there, so that we kind of have something that we can rely on and we can point to. Let me put Chief CLL in here. So this is just a simple configuration just to return and make sure that we get something configured for whatever channels we decide to add. Don't do that. Don't do that, Surly Dev. See that? You're sending it down. Don't do that. So, and really I could overly stub this and say whatever channel it is that you're requesting, just return configuration with that channel name. You know what? Let's actually do that. So we can say if the config equals null, return new. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Return the config. New channel configuration. Channel name equals channel name. So we always get a channel configuration coming back. And I don't even need the config there, do I? Right? I could get rid of that. Get rid of this. Just grab this. Right, and put it here. Now, for those of you that haven't seen the double question mark, this is called. Let me make sure I name it right. Is it the null coalescing operator? If this is null, return the other thing. This channel. Oh gosh, thank you thank you Error SVK. I like to think it's pretty amazing. We have a good time here. Actually, the SQL Server references you see there, Maher, we're not even using SQL Server here. So I want to remove it. I want to get rid of it. The Elvis operator, well, that's the other one, right? That's the null coalescing. What's the double question mark called? There's a technical term. Yeah, double question mark is is the null coalescing. The Elvis operator. Right, where is it? No. There it is. Is the ternary conditional operator. That's the Elvis operator. No. Wait. Wrong one. I don't see it. Exclamation dot. There it is. Is the null conditional operator. That's what it is. Yep, you got it, Chris Jones. The opening bracket in the newer same row. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I just start typing it and I expect it to reformat it, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know why. But it should be on the... Alright, it should be formatted like that. And Visual Studio should do that for us. Alright, so if I go Tools, Options, and I look up C#, Code Style, Formatting, New Lines, place open brace on new line for types, on new line for methods. See, it should be on a new line for everything. Excuse me, I got a little phlegm. My apologies. It's interesting. It's not actually doing these. Right? Even though I... Right? And if I tell it to format, it still doesn't force it to a new line. So when exactly is it formatting and putting it on a new line? No, the setting in Visual Studio is correct. There is an editor config. New line before open brace. Well, that doesn't look quite right. What else can I put there? It should be... Oh, you make me sad. Really? I had a editor config extension. Not tools and features. Where is it? Extensions. There was... Oh, come on. Stop it. There was an editor config language service. There it is. Let me restart Visual Studio. And we'll get type ahead completion there inside of Visual Studio. So this. Oh, come on. Yeah. Go. Do the thing. It does look like I have it overridden in the config file. Come on. Let's go. Chop, chop. We're waiting. Oh, I need that one. All right. Updating configuration. Good. Do it already. And then we have better formatting. Absolutely. That's the goal. Is it opening? There we go. Oh, man. And come on.
And then.
Where is it?
And then.
I'm waiting.
And then.
I want to see it. You know what? I'm going to rename this solution items folder just so I can make sure it always appears at the top. I like to put numbers in front of these things so that the things that are higher priority appear at the top. Like I want my source code to appear above my test files, so I put a 1 in front of it, so it's always sorted up higher in the hierarchy here. So there's editor config. I should be able to now, yeah, look, see, I've even got this colorized here. No suggestions. What? Also known as almond. Yeah, right. Right. Fine. But it should. Excuse me. Now I feel bad. So is there actually an improvement in the speed of starting Visual Studio? Yes, there is. Oh, absolutely. I see underscores to move them up in a list a bit. Hasn't Visual Studio 2019 gone out of preview? It has. There is an RTM release of Visual Studio, but you can always download the previews, and I'll show you that in a second, of the next version. And I like to stay out on the bleeding edge, so I've actually got 16.1 Preview 2 installed and running here. I want to make sure that you see the latest features as they're coming along here on the stream. So I try to run the preview as much as possible. I do have the 16.02, the RTM version, the current version available as well. And I can bounce back and forth between them if I need to, but I'd prefer to stay on the preview so that we can get some feedback back to the team, the Visual Studio team, as things happen. Am I taking a break at the end or just launching another track? Nope, I just loop it. I just keep it looped. Because we're only here for about 2 hours together, Surly Dev. And then we'll raid the next developer streamer. And today that's going to be Robert Tables. We're going to raid him when we're done. All right. Let's let me go back over here, do a thing. Okay. We're going to go now. Let's see. I'm going to start bringing in our next game, the next thing, the next complex bit to this, and then we'll talk about how the actor model needs to be enhanced in order to do some of these things. There was a question about, well, what did I change in order to get this working? I had to add this line to get, if you remember from my previous streams, I had a problem with getting Razor working. I had to add this bit here. I'm sorry, I had a problem getting Blazor working. I added this entry into my project file and it just works. This comes by default in new projects that use .NET Core 3. So once again, we're using .NET Core 3, which is in preview. Preview 4 is currently available. We're using Visual Studio preview so we can see some of the cool new things that are coming along as well. When we're done, we have another person to raid. Oh yeah, plenty of code and hardware today. So we did get that working, and I'm actually quite happy with it. So let's talk about the actors. The things that I had to add, I showed you there's a list of the channels that it's managing. I have an actor here. An actor is a class. It's an object inside of our project that manages some little piece, tiny piece of functionality. That way you can set up and distribute many of them as need be across the application, across threads, across multiple applications, across servers, if need be. Right now we're working in one application and multi-threading that application using the actor model. The framework we're using, Akka.net, and you can see we're referencing Akka here. We're using actor objects and event objects. This will allow us to not even think about the threading or the locations of things as we're building our actors. And they'll just work together for us. We have to abide by some conventions, and they'll do some pretty cool things for us. I love code. Thanks very much for that resub. 4 months! 4 months! I really appreciate that, and we'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. All quarter long, we're going to donate to Veterans Who Code for every cheer, every subscription. And actually, if you cheer, is it this weekend? Robert, is it this weekend, next weekend, or this week? If you cheer and you use the bleeding heart emote as part of that cheer, Twitch will put in an extra 10% towards your cheer. So, this is the top level actor of our hierarchy. Actors are deployed as part of a hierarchy. This one manages all the channels. There you go. Svava cheered 20 and got a bonus 2. Why didn't it come through on Chatty properly? But there you go. 22 bits on that. And it didn't pop up also on Stream Elements. Look at that. My shoulders are disappearing. Oh no. All right. Let's oh gosh, I want to fix those. Where did it go? I get so wrapped up in, yeah, see if I pull back the chroma key, it starts, you start to get a little bit of that green fuzzy over by my mic. All right, so the channel manager actor is the top level. It manages all the different channels that the bot is connecting to. The goal is to have the bot manage at least 2 channels. Really, when it goes out the door, when we deploy this and we get production ready, it's going to manage 3 channels to start. You got to start somewhere. Once you get past that first channel, we've got to work together. It's got to be able to handle multi-threading and all the different resources in silos as different tenants. Here we come back to that tenant concept again, so that they don't interfere with each other. We don't want Quiltoni's settings interfering and affecting Dryad T's settings. They should be isolated and siloed. All right. Would the thing that control the actors be the director? I see what you did there, Corpa. I see what you did there. Okay. Kind of. They actually call it the actor system. If I look at the startup class here, and you're welcome to look at this as well, they call it the actor system is what controls them. Close. It would make sense to call it the director, but it's the actor system. And together as a whole, I've named the application the orchestrator. That kind of makes sense because it's orchestrating all these various pieces together. RJF0306, good to see you. Thanks so much. Speaking of the parent, there's one of my parents right there. But you have parent actors that manage child actors. And child actors, when they grow up, for some reason always ending up getting into drugs and doing all kinds of nasty things when they get done with the Disney Channel. Am I right? Isn't that? That's not how that works. Okay. Bad joke. I'm sorry. So this is the one that we'll call into and we'll say, hey, go join a channel. And we do a quick check here to make sure that we're not already managing that channel. But we'll create a channel actor. And a channel actor knows how to connect to Twitch and manage that channel. So what I've done in order to enable that user interface where we saw here's the list of channels, I created another message here called report current channels. This is a command that we're going to pass into the channel manager actor. When it receives that message, it's going to tell the sender, whoever requested that report of the current channels, it's going to return, here's the list of the current channel actors that I have, and return their names as an array. And then I use that to paint the screen.
And then?
I used it to paint the screen. Yeah, that's what I said. So, that was really easy to do, to add new functionality to this. But we're going to move on, and we're going to start doing something a little bit more complex. And we're going to bring in what was that time guessing game that we built for Quiltoni a while ago with our friend Brave Cobra. Now, the guessing game is sitting over here inside of the Pixelbot project that you can see there above me. It has a couple different pieces to it, but in particular, well, there's the command to actually allow you to send in your guesses. Okay? And then there's this state machine class that actually manages the process of the guessing game. Now, the guessing game has 3 different states. 3 different states? Yeah, there we go. Not started, so we haven't actually started playing the game, so it's sitting there idle. There's open taking guesses. So in the time guessing game, what happens is that you as viewers in the chat room say, oh, I think it's going to take so long to complete a task. In the case of Quiltoni, she'll be binding or quilting some segment of her project, and she'll give folks an opportunity to place guesses. So during that open guessing time, that's the state of the game. She then closes the guesses, and we're in that closed guessing state where now the guessing game is remembering, well, here's all the guesses that everybody has placed. And we're eventually going to report who the winner is. We're going to send into the state machine, into this class, well, here's what the final time was, who won. So there is a trigger here where we'll actually send in using a method, right? We'll execute a method here that says, okay, here's the time that it was completed in, and who won. And that command is, where is it? That's not it. Why don't I see it? It's a thing here, I know it is. Reset. Is it close? I think it's, yeah, there it is, end. So, yep. The reset trigger will, there we go. So it will actually check the time that was submitted, and if it matches one of the guessings, it'll announce a winner. Otherwise, it'll announce who came in closest. So this is a very, very simple, very easy to use state machine that we've built that manages all the different events that happen when you proceed through those 3 states, because there's a bunch of different commands that you need to execute when running this. What testing framework do you use, or thing is the best? So Dual, I'm using XUnit as part of my unit testing here. I have, as part of Visual Studio 2019, I'm using live unit testing to give me these little check marks down the side column here. We call this this area is the gutter. But in this area, you'll see check marks for lines that have executed properly as part of a test. You'll see minus symbols if they haven't executed, like this one down here. And you'll also see red X's if they've executed and at least one test has failed. And that's part of the features of Visual Studio 2019 Enterprise Edition. So that's typically for pay that you can get the higher Enterprise Edition version, but if you install the preview version of Visual Studio 2019, you can get the Enterprise version for free for a limited time. Then you have to fall back to the community version. Only one person can guess a specific time. If someone else has already guessed it, they need to choose a different guess. That's right, Chris. That's one of the rules that we have is one of the business rules of this. And that business rule is enforced when somebody submits a guess down here using this guess method. So it'll send a generic command where it'll process and say, open, there it is. So it'll fire the set guess trigger, which ends up set guess trigger. Okay. And it will trigger the take guess. There it is, on take guess command. So this is private. It happens inside the state machine. It checks to see that it's a properly formatted time. And if it found, if it's not in the right format, it outputs an appropriate error message. And then it checks to see, I said it.
And then?
It checks to see if that guess has already been placed. If it has already been placed, so if it is in our collection of guesses that have already been submitted, then we'll output an appropriate error message. If it hasn't been found and the username is different, we'll set that time as that user's guess. Is the follower chat meant to be on? It shouldn't be on. It's not on. No, followers only chat is not turned on. No, I don't want follower chat to be turned on. That's, yeah. Okay. So that's how this works. And this object, this state machine is pretty simple. It's isolated so that it shouldn't need to interact directly with Twitch. And we're going to move this. We're going to lift it up. We're going to bring it into our orchestrator class, our orchestrator project, so that we can start integrating our new actor model with this. And we'll see how that goes. What about when a person submits a second guess? Does it remove their original guess and supersede? That's correct, Chris. That's exactly what it does. Yes. That makes it pretty easy then for you to say, oh, I want to change my guess. There's also a report here that you can execute if you pass in the command mine. If you pass in the mine command, it will, if we're open taking guesses, it'll go find your guess and then report how much you guessed. The time that you guessed. Otherwise, it'll say that you haven't guessed yet. So, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Now, these two are actually the same. We'll fix that. We'll fix that along the way. Hey, Franklin89, good afternoon. So, that's what this does in this guess game command. So, I'm going to migrate this command and the state machine into the orchestrator. The guess game command has the command text of guess. It has an enabled state so that you can say whether or not you want that command to be available on your channel. And then it has these secondary verbs that you pass in. Exclamation point guess, and then open or reopen, help, blah, blah, blah. Pretty straightforward how you use this. So let's start bringing this in. Oh, I love the rainbow bearded Clippy emotes. Fun fact, today Clippy is 25 years old. His birthday was yesterday. 25 years we've had Clippy around, or Clip It, and I've put a purple hat and a rainbow beard on him there in our chat room. So that's kind of cool. Let's start off. I'm going to grab this command and put it as a new actor in here. Almost old enough to rent a car. Well, he's 25. He should be able to rent a car, right? I'm going to take the guessing game command that's here. I'm going to grab it as is. Just copy out the contents. Create another command up here. Alt-Shift-C helps me create a new class here. And I will call this Guess Game Command Actor, because it's slightly different. This, as an actor, will be a receive actor. It's going to receive messages that tell it to do something. And this is where it's going to change slightly. It's going to behave differently for us. We need to now figure out some of these things that were being passed in, how to handle them now in the actor model. So the command text is guess. We need to have guess game available to us somewhere. We're going to need to move that somewhere where it can be managed. And I'm tempted to move the things for the guessing game out into their own project. Surly Dev. Looks like you're trying to talk about historic Microsoft products. Would you like some help with that? That's what Clippit would have said. Have you used any JavaScript frameworks, and which one do you like? I've used Angular. I've used Knockout. The modern React and Vue and some of the other ones that have been going around, I haven't gotten into. They change so quickly that it's not to sound negative, but it's a waste of my time to learn it, because by the time I get to use it, because I program here on stream with you, by the time I learn how to use it, it's already changed and what I've written is no longer supported. So it's a little bit difficult to support and run things for a long period of time when they're going to deprecate them so quickly. All right, so I've brought this command in, and we're going to need to change it, enhance it, so that it's now behaving like an actor. So let me get rid of some of these extra braces that we have here. Let's format that a little bit and start cleaning things up. Let's brush it up here, make it a little bit easier for folks to use. So there's a channel event. When the channel on Twitch receives a command, it triggers a chat command actor that knows how to parse those commands and goes and does something with them. And here it is. So it has a collection of commands, and it needs to see, well, is this even a valid command? If it is a valid command, create it. Otherwise, tell folks, well, that's not a valid command. We need to have a help command here at some point. And there we go. So we've just created a list of the command actors that we have available. Okay. I think we can do this a little bit better. We started down a path with our guess game command where we had an interface ibot command. And ibot command has just a couple of simple things here. I don't think we need execute anymore. Execute's going to change. Having a guessing game project makes sense, says Stelzy. Yeah, I think you're right. Ultramark says here. All right. And if Ultramark says it, then it must be good, right?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time. All right. You're not well versed with Akka, but would there be a way to request an actor to be created by name instead of a switch and explicitly calling the CTOR, the constructor? They suggest that you don't do that. Right? And they suggest you don't call the constructor, that you have Akka manage that, because it might actually not be constructing it on the same machine or even in the same process that you're running it on. So by calling context actor of in this syntax, you'll let the actor system decide whether to put it on this thread, put it on a different thread, put it in a different process, put it on a different machine. Let that do that decision. Because as soon as you say new actor, right? If I actually, right, when I say new like this, I've created some glue, right? There's a phrase, new is glue. When I say new there on line 52, I'm actually creating this object, this actor class, in this process, in this thread right here, by delegating that to the actor system. It'll place it somewhere and load balance appropriately. But something like context actor of string name of actor. Good question. You can pass in the name. There it is, if you'd like. Hey, Teal Old Man. Thanks so much. 2 months. Gosh, it didn't read it again. Good morning. My mission, should I choose to accept it, is do the thing. I shall do the thing.
Make it so.
And here we go. We're gonna do it. And we're using the Teal Old Man Easter egg actor as a demo to make sure that we know how to send messages back to chat. But we're gonna expand this. We're gonna do a little bit more. We're going to improve it. We're going to add features. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it stronger and more important. And I think what we're going to do is we'll bring in that iBot command interface, and we'll improve this over here. We'll have an iBot command actor, I think. I think that makes sense. Wow.
Just subscribed.
Yeah, is that error thank? I appreciate the subscription. Look forward to seeing you more in the chat room, and we'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. Teal Old Man 2.0. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? It might be a thing. So let's create an interface. Let's call this iBot command actor. We don't need these. Don't need that. I don't need execute yet. We'll figure that out. So is the bot command enabled? I'm not sure I want that there.
Bleed Purple 500 bonus 50. This is a test of the bit system and the bonus that it provides.
Thank you, Inali. Is that Suasi? Susasi. Thanks so much for that, and we will, yes. You know what, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna record your cheer with these. I'm gonna leave these historical cheers here because they're, when we remove the guess game later, I want these to carry over with this change. But I'm gonna make this 550, and I want to make sure I put in your name there. It's Anali Susasi. Right? Did I pronounce that right? Let me know. All right. And today is, what day is today again? I forget what day today is. The 28th. There we go. Thanks so much for that cheer. All right. Very good. So where was I? iBot command actor enabled. I'm not sure I need enabled here. I think I can pick up enabled somewhere else. But I do have the command text. What triggers this command? Over here. So I will make this an iBot command actor. There we go. So the command text flows through. I'm going to go back over to the Teal Old Man. And we'll make this a iBot command actor. And in order... Come on. Now you make me sad. Siri, 3211. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. That template thing was pretty cool. How did I do that? It's Cherokee. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Anale Tsusasi. I really appreciate that. And friends, longtime viewers here of the channel, you know that I want to make sure this is an inclusive and welcoming community for everybody. And we've got folks from Europe, from South America, folks from Africa join us every now and again. I think you might be our first Cherokee viewer, somebody who's identified themselves as Cherokee in the chat room. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate and love seeing all the different folks that join us here on the channel. That's really great stuff. Surly Dev, which template thing? I can do Alt-Shift-C. You see the hint pop up here, and it'll jump me right into what type of item I'd like to add. The code snippets is also a thing. You're listening to some of Robert Table's VODs. Oh my gosh. That's a little crazy. Oh, the code snippets, yeah. So there's all kinds of little code snippets that you can pop up here. And you could tab and it'll automatically generate some things. Now, I'm wondering why this thinks the command text is already implemented. Because it's not, is it? No, there is no command text. Yeah. So where does it think that command text is implemented? Right? Because if I build this now, it should fail. Because iBot Command Actor has an interface, right, that says it should have command text. So it shouldn't work. What are you doing? Yeah, I know, build failed. Please stand by. Why isn't this building properly? Restore completed, doing the thing. Get me the stuff. Come on. I want to see an output window here. It's taking way too long. That is dedicated. So for the cheer, I wrote a little snippet for that. Yeah, there we go. Rebuild failed. Yeah, why? Cannot implicitly look at all that good stuff. Oh yeah. Of course it can't be found because it failed, right? It doesn't know what these things are. Methods must have a response type. Oh man, nice and broken. But it didn't break anything on Teal Old Man Command Actor. Ah, thank you for the follow. Anale Tsusazi. You made a Python program for temperature conversion, and you enjoy learning programming. Cool, Feist. That's great. I'm learning more and more Python. It's something that I've placed on kind of a goal for me to learn. I don't know why it's not there. Let's make this interface public. Command text, and it's going to be this. So what I'd like to then do, under the chat command actor, instead of doing a switch on these and telling it, oh, go find this. Oh, crumbs. No, I can't do that, can I? Where can I put it? Oh, no. I have a bad feeling about this. Like I'm going down another... It's a rat hole. It's a rat hole. It's a rat hole. It's a rat hole. I muted the wrong thing. Fairy Wings, thanks so much for the host. Fuel Snable asks, any Spark.net hype going on? Not today. I know that was just announced, Spark for .net. No, we're not working on anything with that today. Just learning the basics right now. If, else if commands, but we got to start somewhere. Yep. So putting that command there means I need to create it first before I hang it, and that's not going to work. Rats. What if I put an attribute on this that told it what the command text was? Then I could use some reflection to go find them and then load it up. That would be a thing. I'm going to leave that as is. But over here in the chat command actor, oh my gosh, I can't type. Determine best way to identify, create, and load the various command actors. But for right now, I will add guess as the next one. Context, actor of, and this is going to be the guess game command actor, like that. But I think we're going to need to have some configuration for that we're going to pass in. Abstract object that derives from received actor implements ibot command actor and have a static list of commands which actor it responds to. Yes. Yes. But I'm not. Let me come back to that. Yes, with Spark.net, .NET developers can process petabytes of data using Spark pipelines. Yes. Yeah, it's not something I'm going to be working on in the short term here. All right. So that'll return one of these, but I need the properties for it. Because, well, all right, hang on. I'm receiving channel configuration here. And one of the things that I want to be able to do in the channel configuration is determine whether or not to enable the guessing game. So I feel like I'm stepping into a realm now where I need to have configuration for some of these features. So let's do this. Let's start with I'm just going to call this guess game enabled. And I'm going to default this to false so that you have to turn it on. Which means when we receive a chat command, when we check here, if where is it? If config, no, wait a sec. Didn't we store the configuration here? Where'd it go? We didn't yet. Oh my gosh. All right. So now we have the configuration for the channel available. Oh, we need to create one of those. Fine. Now I've got a channel configuration. So if this dot config dot guess game enabled, I don't even, let's do this. If the guess game is enabled, then we'll return that. Otherwise, no. That's easy. And I don't even need this here. Let's get rid of that. All right. So now I've controlled access coming into the guess game. I'm going to go over to my... Nope, I don't have it there. Where'd it go in my data? Data. Channel configuration context. I can now add guest game enabled. I'll enable it on my channel, and I'll also enable it on Quiltone's channel. But for everybody else, it's by default disabled. Any tutorial reference about how to build your first chatbot for Twitch? No, actually, I don't have a good tutorial reference for it. You know, oh, actually, check out TwitchLib. Let's see, it's, and that's a nice, here it is. Yeah, that's a nice library. That's where you can find it. That has a couple of code samples that'll get you up and running. There's a couple of things that it doesn't do well, particularly in the latest version, the 3.0 version. They tried to use async await, and they didn't quite implement it correctly. I should put together some pull requests to help them out. But it'll get you pointed in the right direction. All right, so now I know whether or not the guessing game is enabled. And if it is, it'll, where is it? Create a guessing game command actor to return. Now, the guess game command actor, we now need to build out so that it knows how to manage the guessing game. Do I really need configuration? Is this actually used here? Well, I can take a look here. I can do a Shift F12 to see where it's referenced. It's only used to determine if it's enabled. Well, I'm determining that somewhere else. So in my implementation over here. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need it. Nor do I need this then. Okay. Not bad. The other thing it passes in is the guessing game. And in my old configuration, I had where the bot was single-threaded and it was only ever managing one channel. We created the guessing game as a singleton, and it was managed so there was one guessing game object for the entire application. Well, that's a problem. Would the outguide concept of routers work here for routing commands to their command actors? I don't know. Not quite sure. I haven't used those before. I thought routers would help you go outside of. Yeah, I don't know. I need to read up on it. I'm still learning Akka myself. Okay, so I think I need to have the guessing game created and managed inside of this actor for the channel that it's on, because when you think about the hierarchy here, the channel is created, the channel creates the chat command actor, the chat command actor is going to create the guess game actor,
And then?
This has one guessing game that it manages, but it's not static, right? It's, yeah. So I think I need to have, if I move the guessing game out to, right, because right now it's here in this PixelBot project right here. If I move this out into its own project, its own little DLL, it'll be very isolated, and then we can test it in its isolated state there, because it won't have any dependencies directly on Twitch or a chat service. I like that. Let's do that. Let's do a little shuffling here. I'm going to create another project. Just for the purposes of keeping these separated, because I know I'm going to end up moving this from the orchestrator into a worker project. So to put all the business logic for managing the guessing game, the state of the guessing game, into its own little DLL, that'll make it a little bit easier to reference and move things around. Every day I'm shuffling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a .NET standard project. And I will call this pixelbot. Let's call it create a games namespace. And this is the guest game. Ellie Faces here. Great to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Ellie Face was, of course, yesterday in Philly. We had. Do you know about the furnace party? Do you know about the furnace party? Could that have gotten any more Philly, any crazier? There was a note that was passed around. It was stuck under some folks' doors about throwing yourself into a furnace and being committed to metal, and it was a little disturbing, to be perfectly frank.
And then?
People started mocking it.
And then?
It went on Reddit.
And then?
Folks said, let's turn this into a party instead.
And then?
They did.
And then?
They made IPAs.
And then?
They brought all the food carts.
And then?
It was like a party, a concert broke out. Yeah, they turned it all up out there. It was crazy. Our friend, I'm going to throw a shout out here to our friend Chef Brent. Check out his channel. He brought his camera and he was live streaming the entire event yesterday. There you go. Make sure you check out Chef Brent over on the Chef Brent channel. Gee, go figure. And his video from yesterday is the gang, the PH16 streamer gang, wandering around. I say gang. They're a group of really great folks. They're not like, a gang. Wandering around and checking out all the cool things that were going on there. Little chilly, actually. Yeah. No, it wasn't on fire. It was lit. Uh-huh. It was... No. Yeah. See that? It was funny. All right, it wasn't. I'm going to start moving these objects right over here into the guest game. I'm just going to copy them in. These are all the objects that we did have for that. Oh, Ellie Face says, no, they are a gang.
Wait, Master.
Wait.
It might be dangerous.
They're very dangerous. Don't mess with them. They have knives. No, they don't. They have stream decks. They have cameras. They have microphones. Look out! Too much? I'm going to change the namespace for these things. We're going to make them instead Pixelbot Games Guest Game. Right? So that everything lives... Yeah. We're going to end up getting rid of that. I don't want to take a direct dependency on TwitchLib anymore here. And I'm not sure I need this validator or fluent validation. I don't think I do. We're just moving this around to make it a little bit easier to organize and manage these things. You do crimes, you have kitchen knives. Yeah, see? A perfect furnace party. Is there a furnace con next? Let me tell you, it was better than Fire Festival. They actually had good food there. Fire Festival had a cheese sandwich with lettuce. Which one is better if we want to replace that switch case for commands? Polymorphism or strategy design? Asks Hamad Sahidi. That's a great question. That is a really good question. I personally like strategy design. I think polymorphism would be a really good way to do it as well. If we do polymorphism, that's a way for us to actually have everything implement the same type, the same abstract class or interface. We could use some reflection, right? That's a way to tell C#, go find other pieces of code, look at and inspect how this code works. So we can use reflection to inspect the DLLs, the other libraries that are loaded, and say, go find all the other commands that are available and load them up. That way, we could have this orchestrator not need to be modified whenever there's a new command introduced. We just create a DLL and stick it in the same folder as that orchestrator, and it'll find it and load it up for us eventually. I like that a lot. Kevin Spacey has a death stare. Does he? Does he really? We can make it better. We can make it stronger. We can make it less angry, Kevin Spacey. You like Reflection? Reflection's nice. Hey, Johnny Most, good to see you. You think that's how SMB did his? That's actually, if you take a look at my Stream Tools project, I use Reflection there. And Reflection works great. It's really nice. Really nice way to write code that runs. It doesn't run as fast as native. It runs a little bit slower, and folks will say, "Oh, it's tremendously slow." It runs in double-digit milliseconds. If that's tremendously slow for you, okay, fine. But we're going to cache the interactions with that. So what? Reflection seemed like a great idea in 2001 to me. It's still a great idea. Yeah, I agree. But cache the results of Reflection. You only really need to do the Reflection once in this case when it starts up. And then remember that selection for later. Okay? I don't think I need this validator. I really don't. So we have a chat user object that defines what type of user the person is that's being passed in. Yeah, a little bit. It's got a narrower set of proper uses than what it often gets used for. Yeah, I agree. You no longer think so? Really? Okay. Reflection runs pretty... If you're running Reflection many, many times a second, you're right. It's going to be slow. But if you run it once and cache and you have those results in memory, who cares? I'm looking at things like this chat user and thinking the guest game also has this reference. Oh, we got to get stateless over here. We don't need that. I want to get rid of the reference to Twitch lib here. And that there's iChat service. What the heck is that doing way over there? Whoa. There we go. My bad. That looks really bad. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. And I can't click any of these things. Yeah. That's kind of broken. Control-Shift-F is also a hotkey for the voice modulator. How many years of experience do I have? Asks Duel. I've got about 20 years experience. As a professional programmer, writing code, building applications, and I work with the .NET team. So, kind of know a thing or two. I don't want to search just in the current document. Search in the entire solution for iChat service. Go find it. No. I want to find... Why am I even doing that? iChat service. There it is. It's hiding over here. iChat service has two methods. Broadcast message on channel and whisper message. Well, here's the thing. Those go away because we're now passing those as messages around. So I don't think we need... I don't think we'll need that from guest game. I think we'll need a way to pass that message back. All right. Let's think about this for a second. I need... we're going to go away from you. Guest game command actor. That's where we are. This one. Okay. Why don't you like that? It doesn't need to have a return type. It's the Hang on. You go away. That's a constructor. Why does it think it needs to have a return type? Like, Intellisense is going a little loony here, you know? And this one I don't think I need either. Right? Okay. So, I don't want to call it guess game. I think I want to call this the game. Right? Because it's guess game, the game. Alright. And I still need to get stateless into here. We'll see that in a second here. But now from here, if I call this the game, control dot on that, add a reference to that. Good. Fantastic. Finally got to shake off VB6 last November. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit of long time coming. Class name must have changed. The type is called guess game actor, guess game command actor. Yes. Finally started working with C# and MVC. Oh, welcome to modern ASP.NET development. Guess game is different. Oh, thank you. The constructor name is different from. Thank you. And I don't even need to declare that. Execute is going to go away because we're going to end up passing these commands over to the actual game itself. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm going to need to receive the arguments that are coming in, and that is what we'll process here. Not the game. Yeah. Used VB for nearly 20 years. Surly Dev. Wow. Congratulations. More power to you there. 20 years of VB. That's impressive. Our friend...
Bleed Purple 100 bonus 10 for no more VB6.
Yeah, Michael Jolly. I kind of agree with you. We need to... VB6 needs to get on the shelf here. We're done with that. Let me capitalize those appropriately. There we go. Right, 28.4, there. VB6 does need to go on the shelf, and our friend Kathleen Dollard, she's joined us here for a stream or two. She really wants to connect with us and do an SDK and Visual Basic discussion here. VB6 was amazing for its time, but it was deprecated. We moved on to VB.NET. We improved the language. We made it better. And you really need to stop using VB6. The more you know. Capes and Arrows is here. Hello. Good to see you, friend. Welcome. There she is. Capes and Arrows. If the game Robert Tables is talking about is the same one, here is some more information I learned about it whilst I used to assist scouting. Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Hey, Commander. Have a legacy ASP VB script application you have to support. Got to get that thing updated because it will not receive security patches from Microsoft. $10 million lines of code. It's not easy to migrate. No, it's not. It's not, but time's come. Oh, Docker Hub. Let's not get started with Docker Hub today. They stepped in it right before their own conference. If Microsoft would kill VB6, they'd likely migrate to JVM. Microsoft already killed VB6. It's already dead. I think the last time I used VB6 was sometime in the late 90s. Okay. All right, so we're going to change this so it receives those commands that are being passed in. Not channel. Where is it? The chat command actor. Where'd it go? Here. So this on chat command received Here we go. This command tell, and it will pass along on chat command received args. That's a bad name for that. It shouldn't be. It should be args, so we know it's the arguments and not the command. But we're going to tell, in this case, we're going to pass along that on chat command received args to the guest game command actor. So I do need a constructor here. I will receive those arguments, and we are using TwitchLib for that. We'll abstract that at some point in the future, I guess. And we need to tell it what to do with those. So this is where we should actually execute and pass along. Here's what you're going to be doing. I could actually just change that. I could just say, right, I could just say execute. Yeah, and it's going to complain, oh, it's not the same. So if I change this to on chat command received args like that, now it knows. So I could say args arguments as list any, right? Args.command? There it is. And then, oh, I did it. I said it.
And then?
We should hand over and say, give me some help from the game. And the game is still receiving Twitch. We don't want it to receive Twitch. We want it to be abstract and kind of return, here's what it should be doing, here's what it needs to be doing. So. Oh my gosh. Let me catch up on chat here. I think the last time we used VB6, sometime in the late 90s. Still works though, as far as I know. It does. VB6 is dead in that Microsoft does not provide support for it. Folks still use it. Folks still download components and build for it. But you will not get support from Microsoft on it. They may never be rewritten. If they just get put out into a pasture and no longer return, I think folks would be happy. VB5 was better. It was able to make native EXEs without a runtime. Well, you always have some sort of a runtime that you're pulling all of your framework in from. And at the very worst, it's the operating system that's your runtime that's supporting it. There are programs written in VB6 on a Hitachi subsidiary production line running on XP machines in the job I just left. That's crazy, Surly Dev. 20 years later, we can now make self-contained apps. Yep. You've just rolled the runtime into the app. Isn't it still supported security-wise as it comes with Windows? The runtime, I don't know if the runtime gets patches. It shouldn't. It might, but I can't speak towards that. Worked with a company that once had 20-plus legacy applications written in COBOL, VB6, and 8086 assembler. Oh my gosh. What do I think of Golang? Have I interacted with it? I have not interacted with Golang. It's got to be good because Docker is written in it, right? But folks continue to... Well, folks are investing in Go, and they think it's a pretty good language. The tooling isn't that great, which says something for Go. And I always find it interesting that developers flock to a language when they've got terrible tools. Like, you're enjoying this? This brings you joy to write code like this? I mean, okay. I want to write code that makes me happy and that I can get quick feedback that I know it works properly. So, it's pretty nice, but now that .NET is on Linux, don't have a need. Okay. They've never used Visual Studio. Yeah. The folks that are trying Visual Studio Code for the first time, that rejected and said, I'm never touching Visual Studio, that's a Microsoft thing. But they're finally trying Visual Studio Code, and they're learning IntelliSense. They're learning that it doesn't melt your brain to use IntelliSense, but instead you can focus on building your applications. They're actually getting pretty happy, and they're positive about how they use Visual Studio Code, and they're learning what they're missing. It's interesting. All right. So the game has commands that are receiving information about Twitch. I don't want them to receive information about Twitch anymore. We need to make this work. We've got some issues here. So let's add some of these missing references. I want to add a reference to start with to the core project, this one, so that we can reference, instead of sending and interacting with the Twitch client, I want to pass around messages. I want to get rid of this. I don't want to have to deal directly with Twitch. I want the state machine that manages the game to just know that it's sending messages back and forth to broadcast a message or whisper a message. And we've already got that capability inside of our core library. I'm going to copy in that stateless reference. And stateless is a package. There it is, right there. I'm going to grab that and copy it in. So all of our references occur inside these project files. And yes, it's XML. But that's the way it was built back in 2001. And by continuing to use this syntax, this structure, we actually get great compatibility with older projects. In this way, like we're saying about VB6, those older projects you can use with the modern tools and hopefully modernize them and continue working and evolving those projects. What do we got here? Oh my gosh, more comments. Jetbrains Intellisense. Mafe says Jetbrains Intellisense is way better than Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. I'm not going to argue which one's better, which one's, but I will say that JetBrains has done a lot to invest in making great developer tools. They've spent a lot of time doing that, and some of those things that they've spent time on are coming around to other tools. Folks are adopting it and including some of those features that they've blazed the trail on. Visual Studio IntelliSense with IntelliCode is really amazing. It's quite the feature. Time to change PC. I don't know what you're talking about, Maeve. IntelliJ and ReSharper, I've found both use a lot of memory. Maeve, you're getting a little aggressive there. Take it easy. It's a new one from 2018 with good specs, says Fuel Snable. It's a Mac, yeah. Also importing projects in IntelliJ. Time to get coffee from the... yeah. Let's take it easy there. Let's slow your roll. We're all friends here. We're all trying to make sure we build cool applications together, okay? Visual Studio IntelliSense is now powered by the compiler itself. Yes, it's Roslyn empowered. And if you look at Task Manager, you can actually see it running in the background. I was looking for .NET. I don't see it here. Not Discord. It is running in the background in one of these. Not Runtime Broker. Where is it? It is there. It is running in the background as a separate process, and it traffics back and forth. Cool. Thank you, Maeve. I appreciate that. You want a license for Rider, so you've been trying that out for some test projects. Cool. Look, I love seeing all the other IDEs come up, and having competition in the space is a good thing. It means that we're all going to grow and end up with better tools in the future. So, this now has the ability, it knows about State Machine now. Good, we have that. I want to get rid of this reference to iChat service. I want it to be able to just return a message that says, oh, you need to go do this. Because if we look at where and how this is used, right? So it's broadcast message on channel, broadcast message on channel, and then return game state not started. Right, I think we need some way to reference and pass back the message to the owning actor, right? The guest game here let's think about this. Let's think about this for a second. iChat service has these two. I could make this available. All right, I'm going to let that discussion go on there in chat. I'm not going to poke into it a little. I could make this available, push this into the core down here. No, I didn't want that. I wanted it to open. Thank you. I could make that available and instead make the guest game command actor have this implement that and allow it to pass itself in to the guessing game, and it have the methods to actually trigger and run. We can do that. Yeah, we can do that. So where to go? iChat service. So no. Where are you? You're over here somewhere. I'm going to click this. There it is. Johan B, thanks so much for the resub. And, wow, is that X or U? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Oh my gosh, that'll put us at 61.99. One follower from 6,200. Who's going to be 6,200? Thanks so much, Johan, for that resub. And we'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. I'm going to just grab iChat service. It's got so many references here, I don't want to just move it. But I'm going to copy it and for right now, place a different copy in the core that's the same thing. Because I don't want to break it. Come on. Thank you. I don't want to break it everywhere just yet. You know? $16 gig for a developer machine is I think a pretty good place to start. This machine has 32 that I'm using. So now, going forward, I have iChat service that I can use inside of the orchestrator, but I also have it in the game, and we should. There it is. Is that supposed to be Thomas? 1489. Thank you so much for the follow. You are follower number, and somebody clicked the unfollow button. I see what you did there. Yep, now the numbers are all screwed up. Thank you. I'm not going to say the full name there.
36 just subscribed.
Thank you, Matt36. I appreciate you joining. There we go. That was it. So I'm going to recognize Thomas 1489 as the 6,200th follower. Yeah, that number is going to update in just a second here to 6,200. Welcome. Yeah, still here. Somebody was messing around trying to. What's showing the keystrokes on the right of my code when I do certain keystrokes? That is called Karnak. Yep. If you do a search for Karnak, it's a little WPF application that runs in the corner here. There it is. And it'll place those keystrokes appropriately, and you can tune what they look like. Right? So, does all kinds of nice little things there for us. I'm going to keep iChat service here. Why don't you like that? iChat service is here. It's right there. We'll end up renaming all of these. Yeah, look, now you found it. Okay, so the guest game command actor, if we have this implement iChat service, control dot, get my using statement, and I'll control dot one more time. Look at that. Look at that. Not all the things, but it thinks it already has the interface implemented. It hasn't even gotten there yet because there's all these things that it... Yeah. Instead of passing Twitch, I'm going to pass this as the first argument. It doesn't even know what the game is yet, which is weird here. Typer namespace name guest game command could not be found. Why are you looking at guest game command? That's not here. You need to move that. Okay, well, let's clean up some of these. As guest game command, yeah, you don't know what that is yet, do you? Thanks for the link, Surly Dev. I think you'd be a bit happier with more powered model you mentioned. Yeah. Oh yeah, go with i7. If you're looking at a new machine, go get an i7. I'll say this .whisper message because that should be a thing. This will be args command. There we go. We're gonna pass this args.command as guest game command. We'll figure that out. Okay. So yeah, this should be args. So now it doesn't know what that is. We'll get that. Not Ryzen? No. Not an i9. i9 is way too expensive at this point. Way, way expensive. Alright, we're getting closer here. So we started moving things over, and instead of passing Twitch here, I'm going to replace it with this, because this... And why didn't it do the replace? Yeah. Nope, next. Good. Why did it go over there? I didn't want it over there. I want to get rid of this reference to the events. No, I do need the events there. I'm sorry. I'm receiving those. Okay. You've got an i9 in your work laptop. It wasn't optional. Wow. How much heat does that thing throw off? Okay. So I'm going to go back over to the game. So we're going to receive iChat service. I don't want to just call it Twitch here. I'm going to rename this. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to rename it everywhere, aren't I? So we were receiving the guest game command into those. And what's it doing with the guest game command when it receives it? It's getting the arguments as list in the chat user? Try a Porsche design book 1. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Alienware, those get hot as well. So what was the guest game actually doing when it would receive the guest game command? Right? Set trigger parameters. So it receives those commands in, and it's checking if the chat user is a broadcaster or is a moderator. It's inspecting information about the chat user. Okay. We're getting closer. I feel like all of these are going to need to be removed. See, this one isn't even doing anything. Right? It's not actually using the command. There it's using the command. Why not the Matrix? Oh, brother. Let's see here. How do I want to pull this out? Because that's a command that's being passed in. I don't want to reference... Gosh, I don't want to reference that Twitch lib and pass it into here. Because then things get a little bit hairy. I feel like I could abstract it. Write a wrapper so that I convert from the Twitch model stuff to just what I need for the guessing game. Or just in general. About whether someone's a moderator or the chat user's username. Move that all, or if they're the broadcaster, and pass that information around so that I lose the direct reference on Twitch when I'm not inside the orchestrator that it's working directly with it. What is getting wrapped in actor pattern? Observers, channels, message handling. Message handling, Kilroy. Lots and lots of message handling. See, in this send generic command stuff here, while I appreciate how Brave Cobra wrapped this up and made it a little bit easier to centralize it, I feel like it added more code that just created a switch statement here that was we could have simplified coming in from the command anyway. You know? Thinking. How are we going to simplify this? And then we've got unit tests to migrate as well. I feel like chicken tonight. No. There's so much good code here, because I mean this is a couple hundred lines of code that manages this. And what I'm taking out of the command in each one of these. Dead Magus, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. What I feel like trying to get this working. All right, let's do this. I don't have any direct references to anything Twitch in here, so I'm going to come through and where is it? Here. Inside, I'm going to only search this document. I'm going to search for the word Twitch, and I'm going to replace this with chat SVC. Chat service. That way, it doesn't look like I'm doing something specific to Twitch. And I've got that little bit of abstraction. Okay? And I'm not, it doesn't look like I'm coupled to the Twitch library. Couldn't one perhaps use async await somehow as they generate a state machine behind the scenes? No, this is async and await for that interaction, yes, but I need to generate managing the state across several minutes while this game is being presented and interacted with. I see where you're going there, but not quite. So the command that's being passed in, right, it doesn't actually use it. Right, when opening from closed, See, I think some of this was actually over-engineered a little. I think we can simplify some of these because they're not... Yeah. Right, and things like can open. Right, so can you open the game? We're checking the command that's being passed in. This needs to have the same arguments as when opening from not started. Well, actually, the set open trigger has those two arguments. Chat service, guest game command. So when opening from not started has those same two arguments, and then it decides what to do. So maybe... Why don't you have a separate chat actor for displaying messages, reading input? Already got one. Already got one. That's what the chat command actor is doing. And, where is it? The channel actor. Where'd it go? Channel actor will... Right, this is managing the complete interactions with Twitch. Okay. When it receives a message that says whisper or broadcast, it'll call those appropriate methods here and execute that on Twitch. So I agree with you, Crash, and we've placed that appropriately in that one actor. So all it knows how to do is interact with Twitch. For the guessing game, I want to remove references to those things so that when this is being managed within the guessing game command actor over here, it holds a copy of the guessing game and passes those commands into it. Those do something and then change the state of the guessing game and then return an appropriate message to the command actor. And it decides, all right, do I need to send a message over to the chat and go do that thing appropriately? So, all good things. I completely agree with you on those. But the statelessness, right, inside the game here, we need to kind of wrap these things up. And I think what we're going to end up doing is creating an abstract command object that has information about this. I want to go away. The arguments as a list, and the chat user, their username, and whether they're the broadcaster or they're a moderator. So I think I want to come down here back to our core. We have bot configuration, channel really, this shouldn't be domain. This should be configuration at this point. I'm going to add an object here, and let's call this. Let's call this base command. No, let's call this chat command. There it is. Okay. So the things that this needs arguments as list. Okay. It's a string, arguments as list. I don't really want to. Nah, I'll let you set it. Sure. I don't. There was information about the chat user. I don't really need the user. So let's just create a bool is broadcaster. It's a boolean for is moderator. Okay. The username. I should have used the snippet there. And I think username, broadcaster. Yeah, I think that's just about everything. So if we have that as what a chat command is. You also game and stream on it? Yeah, definitely something to be said about putting a little bit more into a machine. Okay. So then instead of passing... Instead of passing a guest game command, pass a chat command. And control dot on that, make sure we get the using statement. Replace these. Okay. So now we need to change the signature of some of these so that instead of receiving a guest game command, we're going to receive a chat command. Cool. I'm getting rid of that validator. Okay. So now looking over here in the scroll bar, I can see these red spots where it doesn't have a... I've got errors here, right? These red squiggles are showing me the errors. I'm going to remove... Let's just do this. Let's find chat user dot, and I'm going to replace it with nothing. Go find them all. And that got rid of most of my reds. Look at that. I'll scroll this down to the next one. Chat service whisper message command display name. That's the display name of the user. All right, we'll add the user's display name as well. Fine. Good, done. And now everything that's in the game compiles. Whether or not it works is another story. So let's go back to the guest game command actor. So now I need to convert these on chat command received args to a chat command to pass along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a... I feel like I should just create it once and pass it along here. Right? So if I have the command equals new chat command, right? It's going to figure out what that is right now. Arguments as list is args dot command arguments as list is args command. Where's the user? Where's the user? Chat message. Display name. That's the user's display name. Got that. All right, next. Let's get the is broadcaster. Args command chat message is broadcaster. Next one is moderator. Chat message. Yes. Fantastic. Thank you, Lennon. Yep, we're going to raid over him to Robert Tables in just a second. Username. There we go. So that's all that I need for this. So now instead of passing this, I can just say the command. And I can do that. Get rid of this. Here we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. And I think we've just about got it. All right. So now I still have one little area there that's red, and it is this .whisper message. Right. It still didn't say chat service. That makes me sad. Generate that method. This should be a public username and the message. And this is easy because what we're going to do is just say context. No. Sender tell new whisper message. Come on. Give me one of those. For that username, this message. Done. That's easy. It is a dev stream train today. Absolutely. Usually stop after no opcat scheduled stream. Yeah. Oh, I get that one. Now, for some reason, this still, right, looks like it's going to build, even though it's not implementing all of that interface. Yeah, I know. So we've still got a couple more things here. The validators inside guest game not found, some of these other things. And I will clean those up, get them working for next time. But I'm going to mark this as a work in progress. So let's add Pixelbot games, guest game. We're getting really close on this. Pixelbot orchestrator. Yep. No. That's fine. Sure. Is that everything? Is that all my new things? No, I need to add the chat command. Let's do this. There we go. Now I can commit. All right. Started WIP work in progress. Started migrating the guest game, and we're really close. We are really close to having that working. It's not going to build properly, and that's okay. But we'll push it up there so that it's available so folks can check it out if you'd like. Perhaps on a future stream we can talk about API limits, since this is designed to connect to several channels. It is a valid concern. Tell you what, Electric Havoc, open an issue for me in the project so that we can discuss it. We know that it's out there as a concern. We do need to manage the API limits appropriately when we are interacting with chat. As this scales up, we're going to need to manage those API limits, because it could get a little dicey. Twitch does have limits as to how often you can call and interact with chat as a single client, and we're going to need to learn to deal with that. So, wrapping up. They are kind of low, but you can get them extended. You can do some things to improve it. So we've started migrating our guessing game. We've got it migrated into its own project up here that still isn't quite building yet. There's some things that we need to clean up and remove so that it's building as its own project, and then we'll migrate our unit tests for the guessing game so that this works and is tested and we ensure works properly. We've abstracted out a little bit of the interactions that the guessing game does with Twitch so that it now references a chat service called service, and we'll pass that information around. Additionally, we're no longer referencing the guest game specific command, but now a generic command that we'll be able to use for our other games that we'll build onto the bot. We're extending and building in the right direction here, so we've got open-ended places that we can spot weld on. We can add new features as they become available. I'm really happy with where things are going at this point. We are going to need to be concerned about API limits, and we'll get there. We'll figure that out as that happens. For now, it's time for me to say goodbye, but we're going to raid over to our friend Robert Tables. Let's put out the raid call there. If you're a subscriber, grab that first line of text, copy it out into your clipboard. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. Grab the second line of text, put that on your clipboard so that when we get over to Robert's channel, you can say hello, let him know that you came from here, and make our grand announcement. Do I ever write my tests first in strict TDD fashion? No, Surly Dev. I want to make sure I get something working. Get it working, write some tests to make sure they continue working properly. Testing those business rules, and then we'll enhance it. We'll tie that down, make sure that it runs great with great performance. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. Say hello to Robert Tables for me, and I will see you tomorrow night for a code party. We've got trivia, we've got prizes, and we've got some great women in technology. I'll see you then. Take care, everybody.